Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be welcoming back my good friend, the hilarious Kimmy Robertson. I'm having her back on the show today because last time we talked an awful lot about her movie and TV credits. There's a couple things we didn't get to that I really wanted to, but I had to get going, and so I'm having her back on the show today to talk about a couple TV show appearances and one regular role that she did, and then ask her about whatever else is going on and stuff. Maybe comment on quarantine. I can't believe this is still going on. It's just insane. I've never seen anything like this. And this is just a strange time that we're living in. But all I can say is keep your head up, because at the end of the day, kindness and love is what matters and nothing else. That's all that does matter, is kindness and love. So yeah, here is my new interview with Kimmy Robertson. Hey, Kimmy?
I had my sound off on my telephone.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's
I'm so sorry. It's been very bizarre.
That's perfectly all right. Wow.
I early this morning I woke up and went, I got some sort of like appointment reminder, and it woke me up, so I said, I'm turning the sound off.
Yeah.
Like, not really awake. So that's what happened. I'm sorry.
That's perfectly all right.
Sorry.
It happens all the time. So how you holding up in this clusterfuck that we're in?
I'm holding up. I'm well, so I have no complaints.
That's good. That's good. I have nothing but complaints.
But I leave that to the experts, so
Yeah.
for handling that for me.
Yeah.
What are your complaints? Tell me.
Just being, confined to home, not being able to go to the gym because I'm so heavy, and just, not being able to do things, But then again, everybody's that way right now.
What about going for a walk instead of the gymnasium?
I can do that too, but I'm also afraid of catching something even with the mask on.
Oh, well, you should tell that to the throngs of people that walk by my house every day.
Oh, do they walk without masks?
No, they all have masks on. Some don't have them on all the time, but they've got them there. And some have gloves and hats, and it's an array of accoutrements.
Yeah, in this small town of Redding, California, there's a lot of people walking around without masks, and it's just so. I think it's selfish. I think it's entitled. I think it's crazy, quite frankly.
Well, they should make a trip to the hospital and check it out before they decide to walk around with no masks on. That'll fix them.
Mm-hmm.
If they see what's going on in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you have no friends or no one you know has had it or anything like that, and no medical people in your family, well, you might not think it's there. So just run up to the hospital and check it out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that this whole thing is going to be good for the country, though, in terms of just being, in the last 2 decades, I feel like the country has been very selfish and greedy and mean-spirited. I think that this is going to humble everybody,
Yeah, and give them some quiet time.
Yeah, and give them some quiet time and stuff. But absolutely, yeah. So yeah,
a corner and think about what you've done.
exactly. I think this is God's way of telling people to do that.
Yeah, yes, I do too. I don't know if it's God's way or if it's Mother Nature's way, but it's somebody's way.
It's somebody's, yes. I totally agree. So,
An opportunity for sure.
yeah. So last time we were talking about your movie and TV role highlights. We covered a lot, but there's a couple I didn't get to ask. And I'd like to start with, do you remember guest starring on Webster?
I do. There
Yeah.
was no audience.
Yeah.
It was very, very strange doing a sitcom with on the stage where all the bleachers were, and there was no people there.
Mm-hmm. So it was like a stage with no audience, but there was a laugh track.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. It was interesting. Spooky.
Yeah. Was that your first experience doing a sitcom?
No, I had done. I did a bunch in the '80s, but I did. What was that movie with 9 to 5, where her sister played her character. She looked just like her. I did that. I did Boys Will Be Boys with Matthew Perry wearing braces and a headgear. And what else? Oh, I did Suzanne Summers. She's the sheriff.
Oh yeah.
And
Perfect Strangers.
Perfect Strangers. Did that in the '80s. That was the first one I did. I can't remember anything else.
Well, I got. Well, how was working on Perfect Strangers?
Oh, that was interesting. Balky. What's his name?
Bronson Pinchot.
Thank you. Bronson Pinchot had a reputation for every single episode having at least one guest actor fired.
Huh.
Because he liked to have power, he said. He told me this. And he he liked to make trouble and come into your dressing room and cut the cheese and walk out. None of that ruffled me. I don't know why. It just seemed like normal bratty boy stuff to me.
Yeah.
And he liked me because he couldn't ruffle me. So we became friends. And then the second time I was on, where his brother was on and was my character's love interest. And it was really fun. It was fun. Bronson was fun. And the dresser was one of the two brothers that also had this reputation for being wicked and mean, and he was very nice to me. I think because I don't threaten anybody because I'm not a beautiful ingenue. I wasn't an ingenue. I was just this thing.
Yeah.
It's her line.
Yeah.
Didn't cause me problems. So they couldn't find anything to not like about me somehow. That was good.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite shows growing up and stuff. The chemistry between him and Mark Lindbaker was just unparalleled,
Yes. And during this coronavirus stuff, I've been watching a lot of old movies on Turner Classic Movies, and I've seen many incarnations of the Balky character, and I just keep saying how brilliant Bronson was for, I'm assuming, and I might be right, I might be wrong, host, but I'm assuming he watched these old movies and made a sort of amalgamation of all those foreign characters who, like in a Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers movie, it would be like a side character who was like the decorator or, you know, one of those kind of people, and always spoke really bizarre broken English with words that didn't fit. So it just made me think how ahead of his time he was by going backwards in time and doing what's old becoming new again. That's brilliant.
Yeah, they were definitely the odd couple of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, Martha Baker was so nice. Really nice. I don't remember now, but it seems like he was like a Yale graduate or something like that. Smart guy.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, just listening to him talk, he sounds like he's very smart.
Yeah, I had seen him at the USC class that I used to sit in on a lot, where they show a movie and someone would come and talk. And I saw him in My Favorite Year. I saw that screened, and then he talked, and he was lovely.
That's a great movie. My Favorite Year.
I love that movie.
Yeah, Peter O'Toole's great in it. I remember when you guest starred on Married with Children.
Oh, yeah. That was something.
Yeah, you had that funny hair.
That was a wig, yes.
Yeah.
Huge wig.
Was everyone just laughing all day on that set?
No, not really. It was a week of rehearsals, and then the shoot day was Friday. Went on. We shot it. They would shoot it twice. I think once with the audience, or maybe twice. Remember, 2 different audiences, I think. And the second one was going way past midnight, like till 2 in the morning. Yeah. And I remember when I went to sign out, when we were all done, they had my sign out time at 11:55, and I said, yeah, it's actually like triple golden time or something, so I'm not going to sign that until you make the time correct. Those poor assistant directors, you know, that have to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And save the company some money.
Yeah. I had heard that they used to shoot 2 shows on a Friday night and stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep, and there was packed. Huge audience. Very popular.
Yeah, I heard Ed O'Neill say in an interview once he actually hated performing in front of that audience after a while because the alpha male guys in the audience made him a little uncomfortable.
Look at Lenny Alpha. He's huge. He's so tall and huge feet and huge hands.
Yeah.
He could snap anyone in 2.
Yeah. I just think that you know, they made him uncomfortable because you know, they really do represent what Al represents, you know, but he doesn't represent that. So I think that's why.
Not at all.
Yeah. So that's why I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the writers of that show, a woman, his name escapes me at this moment, played. Did you ever see The Last American Virgin?
Oh, of course, one of my favorite movies.
Well, Gary, the Virgin, The Last American Virgin.
Lawrence
His
Monason.
mother, Lawrence Monason, yeah. She played his mom in Last American Virgin. So now you have a face to one of the brilliant writers of the show, Married with Children.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Levitt and Moye, those guys were just geniuses. The two creators of the show.
Yeah. That, all they did was show Middle America or Southgate, where the city I grew up in, and so that's great. Yes.
Yeah, it's funny. You get a white Jewish guy from New York and a black guy from the South, just meshed together like that. It's just so funny.
Yeah, it was brilliant. How long was that show on? 11 years? 12?
11 seasons, but 10 years.
Wow. Or something.
That's a long time. Yeah. And then you were on the short-lived Louie Show.
I was. I can't believe you know that. How did you know that?
IMDb. Yeah, how was that experience?
Everyone thinks I was on Louis C.K.'s show when they see that.
Yeah.
But,
No, I know the difference.
the only reason I was on that show was because Louis wanted me on that show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nobody else did. But he said he wouldn't do it if I wasn't on it. If I wasn't a recurring role. I thought that was really sweet.
Did you two know each other before, or just he was a fan of your work?
He was a fan.
Mm-hmm.
He was a Lucy fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I didn't really have much of a part or anything, but I was there watching that go on. I mean, that was a casualty of the studios, like not the studio system, but the people that come in and watch you rehearse and then give notes.
The network executives.
Business school and stuff.
Yeah, the network executives.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I knew there was a dirty word that I couldn't think of. Yeah, they kept taking everything out that was funny because they didn't get it or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was it a good experience overall, though?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard he's a great guy.
Probably the sweetest man that ever lived, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad he's finally got a show that basket show just seems like a dream come true for him.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't realize this, too. He was originally cast as Larry on Perfect Strangers.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Know that? Well, I know he didn't like the 9 to 5 thing, going to work 9 to 5, and also scripted shows wasn't his thing.
Yeah.
So that's why the Louie Show ended, because they kept making us stick to the script. Therefore, it wasn't funny.
Yeah. Well, I heard him say, I heard him talk about it in a podcast interview. He shot the pilot, and they said he didn't have any chemistry with Bronson, so that's why he was replaced. He was a little upset though, because the idea for the show was kind of his idea, and he didn't get any credit for it, But I guess that's showbiz.
No kidding.
Yep.
I remember at that time I did what are those shows called where they're not on spec, but maybe it is a spec pilot, some kind of pilot, where they shoot it and then they're going to shop it there.
Right.
Or something. And I got that from doing those shows over there. And because I was funny, and then when we shot it, they took like everything out. Again, all the stuff that I did that was funny, that was improvised, they didn't let me do. So my character was like this flat cardboard cutout. And I remember when that was, because we shot it, we were shooting it the week of the riots.
The riots.
O.J. Simpson trial happened because I was driving home to Pasadena from 20th Century Fox, and on the freeways, I would look out over the city, and there was just fires dotted all over the city. People burning down the city.
Wow. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Why do you think the Louie Show was canceled so quickly?
Because it wasn't funny. The writers wrote funny stuff, and then we did funny improvisation stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the executives just didn't want that. They wouldn't let us do that. So then when we'd shoot the show, all that would be out. So it was very frustrating.
I can imagine.
And Brian Cranston was hysterical in it.
Mm-hmm.
That never really showed. And then I think either he left or Phil. Oh, God. Here I go with the name. Well, he's become a fabulous director now anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember. I think he replaced Brian Cranston. Brian Cranston got Malcolm in the Middle or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also another person in the cast had to leave because she got ER. So it was very strange.
Yeah.
Laura Ingram.
Yeah.
It was kind of a mess.
I also see. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Paul Feig.
Paul Feig.
Right.
I had his name inverted in my head. Paul Feig. Wonderful guy. So talented.
Yeah. And Kate Hodge was on there. I reached out to her recently. Haven't heard back yet, but I wanted to talk to her about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. But, yeah, I mean, it was a good cast, but I guess the show wasn't funny, as you said.
Yeah. But I got a cool hat as a present from Louie. It's one of those Elmer Fudd red and black plaid hats with the ear flaps.
A hunter's hat.
Yeah. There's the Louie Show on it.
Yeah.
And that hat.
So did you have any projects in the works before quarantine started?
Well, actually, last summer, I ended up being approached by a management company, and they, so for the first time in my entire career, I have wonderful representation.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing auditions for pilots and parts and shows and more auditions in a 3-month period than I've ever had in my whole career. So, yeah, Authentic.
Yeah.
Is the name of the management company.
Authentic.
That was weird because I'm friends with the woman who asked me if they could represent me,
Mm-hmm.
and we went to lunch with Joanna Ray, the casting director,
Mm-hmm.
and we were just talking about a bunch of stuff, and we went to lunch because Beth had never met Joanna in person, although they'd worked together for years. And, Beth with the clients and Joanna with the casting. And so we all got together so they could meet and we could just have girl talk. And after Joanna left and Beth and I were waiting for our cars, she said, I know that our friendship, there's a big trash truck here. Do you hear it?
I do hear it in the background, yeah.
I'm really sorry.
It's okay.
It's about to leave. It's just put down the big dumpster thing.
Mm-hmm.
The other little truck is backing up to get the big dumpster thing off of the truck. And now he's going forward. Now he's backing up. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yep, I hear it.
It's going to be a second. He's got a vacuum cleaner, some boxes, and I see a guitar head in the trash. That's all going to go up into the big truck. There it goes. And there goes the truck almost. No, not yet. Bang. Oh. Okay, so back to the story. So that's how I know our friendship is really important to you, and it's important to me too. But I was talking to the guys at work, and they really, really like you, and they really can't believe this opportunity that you're not represented by anyone at this moment, and kept talking like that. And she said, so if it's all right with you, we wondered if maybe you might go with us for a while, and I promised to keep our friendship. And I didn't know what she was saying.
Yeah.
Beth, wait a minute. Are you asking if you could represent me theatrically? She said, yes, Kimmy, that's what I've been saying for the past 10 minutes. Oh! She said, oh my God! Of course, that would be fun. Yes, I would love that. That would be really cool to walk into a room and actually have representation.
Yeah.
I haven't had a theatrical agent really ever. I mean, I've had some here and there, but they never really represented me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, generally when people in Hollywood give you compliments like that, that generally means that they're full of shit. You know?
Yeah, I didn't know what she was talking about. I had no idea. I didn't have a clue that he was saying that they wanted me as a client.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. So to answer your question, I was working on it, but then everything closed. Hollywood closed.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens next.
Yeah, one of my biggest worries is the future of the conventions.
Oh, yeah. All those fans coming. I feel badly for them. I really do. I was just talking about that with my friend Johnny Katz last night.
Mm-hmm.
He said the killer show is going to happen in October. We'll see.
Yeah. I see a lot of these virtual conventions happening, and like they're giving the fans like 2 minutes with like each celebrity and stuff. I just think that's foolish, I think.
Man, I didn't know that was happening.
Yeah, well, it's slowly creeping up, you know. I think, you know, if this goes on for another year and stuff, you're going to see a lot of them. But
Wow.
hopefully it won't happen. But yeah, I don't want to take part in those. I just want to be there in person. I think that if we do go back to them after this and stuff, there's going to be a lot of hand sanitizer and a lot of shields at everybody's booth.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I know Showtime had planned a whole bunch of stuff for the Twin Peaks 30th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
European stuff and American stuff. And I don't know if that's going to happen now.
Yeah, I did see something about that you guys were booked to do a show originally in, I think it was Graceland or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we were. People were griping about that taking the place of the one in Seattle, but it was just for this year, just for the 30th. It was only for 1 year, as far as I know. I don't know everything, but that I pretty much know for sure. And also, I mean, I think I do. Maybe I don't. But also, they were saying that the $1,000 VIP ticket was way too much and they couldn't afford it. And But the VIP ticket was a hotel room and all the events and all the food. Whereas a lot of people had been staying at the Salish Hotel and Spa in Snoqualmie for the Twin Peaks convention, and that's $500 a night.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't include any events or the ticket to the festival, and it doesn't include food. So it seems like a better deal to me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they just didn't quite understand that math. I don't know. Obviously, everyone, I'm not saying anything bad about the regular Twin Peaks Fest.
Yeah.
Trying to look at the bright side is all I'm saying.
Yeah. I think this pandemic is going to take a beating to the economy, and I think that when the conventions do come back and stuff, they're either going to be super high or they're going to be super low. In terms of prices, And
how are they going to limit? I mean, even Disneyland, how are they going to do that? Limit the amount of people that go in like they used to in the 60s and 70s? That would be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. I have no idea. All we can do is hope for the best.
Yeah. And do your research.
Yeah.
One should research where this virus came from, really.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say any more than that.
Yeah.
Research is good.
Yes, it is very good. So, Kimmy, there's a game that I like to engage with my guests in, and we didn't get to play it last time, but...
Okay.
So what this is, it's silly slumber party questions. And how it works is I ask you the question, you answer it, and then you ask me the exact same question and I answer it.
Okay. First of all, I'm really bad at games, so it's my disclaimer.
Well, nobody wins. It's just silly fun.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Kimmy, are you ticklish?
Yes. Are you ticklish?
I am baby ticklish, yes.
Okay.
What is your favorite part of the body?
My lips.
That's interesting.
Tommy, what's your favorite part of the body?
The belly button.
Okay.
Yeah. What color are your toenails painted?
basically pink. Pink with glitter, like a copper color.
Like it.
What color are your toenails painted?
Right now, they're all natural. Last time, they were purple with sparkles.
Oh, boy. Now you're going for the au natural. Any sparkles left over there?
Nope. I was very thorough in cleaning them off. What would you say is your best personality trait?
My sense of humor. What would you say is your best personality trait?
I agree. My sense of empathy and the fact that I have no filter.
No filter?
Yeah.
Excellent.
And then,
Filter's good.
yeah. And then my favorite question, is there a stinky smell that just makes you gag?
Yes. Tar.
Ooh, that is pretty bad.
Is there a stinky smell that makes you gag?
Either farts or feet.
Okay. I was afraid you were going to say that.
It's funny, whenever I say that to someone who has kids, it doesn't affect them because they're used to it.
No kidding. I don't know how they do that. I babysat once in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I was an adult, and it was like an emergency. I had to babysit my friend's baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't walk yet, so she was in diapers, and I had to change her diaper. And I put her on the floor of the nursery and got the Pampers box out and was reading the directions. And meanwhile, she was scooting around on the floor on the rug. And I started, I had to go to the bathroom and throw up. And then I put the diaper on, and it was upside down and backwards and inside out. And then I had to go throw up again, and I finally got a diaper on her in some way. And I had a safety pin, and I safety pinned them on because I couldn't do it right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was it for me.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have kids.
That was awful.
Yeah. Oh my God. So the last time we talked, oh my God, you told me that hilarious story about when you gave Dan O'Banion the blowjob and Brian Peck got cast in Return of the Living Dead.
Uh-huh.
God, that was so damn hilarious. Like I literally think about it like every other day.
Well, it was the 80s.
Yeah.
Things were way different then. Way different.
Yeah, it's way different now. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, you know, a lot of auditions are online now and stuff. So, and even though the Me Too movement has happened, is there even a casting couch anymore? You know?
It's at home.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
Yeah.
it's really strange.
I was never invited on anyone's casting couch. I mean, I was dating Dan O'Bannon, so he was my boyfriend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it really wasn't like a casting couch. It was more like a bonus couch.
Yeah.
I couldn't get him to listen to me any other way. Here. I was watching old Golden Girls yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
There's a dandelion, and I have to make a wish. Wait a second. I wish.
What was your wish?
Oh, I can't tell you my wish. That's secret.
Yeah.
I'm giving up. I'm getting in the car because this is too noisy, and I'm going to put you on Bruce. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Let's do this. Hold on now. Hold on to your hat.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh,
Can you hear me okay?
oh yeah, that sounds really good.
I just put my seatbelt on so it stops beeping there. Where were we? Oh, Dan O'Bannon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Golden Girls. I was watching Golden Girls, and it was the first season, episode 3, and Rose was dating Alan Alda's father.
Robert Alda, yes.
Yes. And his name was Arnie then, and then later in the series, they were dating, and his name was Milo, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure why that happened, but so they were on a cruise to the Bahamas, and they were in the bedroom, and she had not ever had sex since her husband Charlie passed away 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she said she just couldn't sleep with him because she felt like she was cheating on her husband, and came on the cruise hoping that it would change her mind, and then he started talking about when he was married before his wife passed away, and he said, I never did anything other than seeing and noticing some women were pretty. I think that's what he said, and maybe a few pats on the bum. I never cheated on my wife. And I went, what? And I rewound it and watched that about 50 times to make sure I got it right. And that was in 1985, I think.
Yeah.
So, saying that, now, first of all, they wouldn't say it. But back then, a few pats on the bum was expected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I still don't think it's right, but that's just how it was back then, And we got these what they call social justice warriors trying to erase, certain movie stars like John Wayne or certain movies from the past and stuff because it's considered taboo, now, but much worse, and it's like you can't erase it because it's part of history, and it should be there to, teach people, the young generation of what it was back then,
No kidding. Are you joking? People are really trying to do that?
Yeah, they. I'm trying to remember. John Wayne was in some kind of. I think he was. I think he was in the Library of Congress or something, and these social justice warriors were trying to get him out of the Library of Congress because he was so racist in movies and in this interview that he did for Rolling Stone or something back in the early '70s. Just stupid shit like that. And they just don't look at it objectively and say, that's how it was back then. And this is how things have changed.
Well, they don't dance like they did in Top Hat anymore either, do they?
Yeah.
Well, they need to get rid of that movie because people don't dance like that and it makes them feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck off.
Yeah. They wanted to cancel Robert Downey Jr. because he played a black man in Tropic Thunder, And it's like, yeah, while you're at it, also cancel Al Jolson because he's the pioneer of that.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's saying that's a good thing. They're not saying that.
Yeah. It's stupid. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think they need to get rid of the Bible where they crucified Jesus.
Yeah.
That part needs to be taken out.
Yeah.
Because that was socially unjust.
Exactly. Yeah. I remember that comedian Bill Hicks. He says, "Do you think when Jesus comes back, he wants to see a cross?" You know?
So clever.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah, it's craziness out there. It really is, and stuff. I don't know if you know this, Kimmy, but May is International Masturbation Month.
I did not know that, but I'm happy. I know that now.
Yes, and I've been having guests tell me masturbation stories. Do you have any?
No, I don't. I do. Wait. So I've had back problems my whole life since I was little,
Right.
and my dad. Sorry, somebody's calling, so it's beeping.
Yeah.
My dad. Should I have put my phone on airplane mode? Would that have worked?
No, it's okay.
Oh well. Okay. Anyway, I'm just curious.
It's okay.
So he always would give me massagers and heating pads and electric, manicure sets, and because he owned a pharmacy. So for Christmas, I would get a certain amount of electric stuff, certain amount of lotions and perfumes and powders, just stuff that he had in his store that he thought I would like or need.
Right.
So, and he, when I was little, showed me how to use a vibrator on my neck, and a heated vibrator, and it really helped on my lower back, blah, blah, blah. So I always had like two of them plugged in near my bed. And even in college, when I went to college, and people would come in my room and go, whoa, what's that for? And I would say, those are neck massagers. And I didn't understand what they were making those sounds about. And I had no clue until at some point I read The Sensuous Woman. And I got all embarrassed and went, oh my God, I should have hit those because regular people thought I was using them to masturbate with. I had no idea. I mean, it never occurred to me. So that's my masturbation story.
That's awesome. Oh, I have a couple good ones.
Okay.
About a month after I got out of the hospital from my car accident, a friend of mine came to visit me, and her and I have a relationship where we can see each other naked, or we can play with ourselves in front of each other, and it doesn't affect us because we're such good friends since high school.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird, but go on.
So she came to visit me, and I was in the middle of masturbating to Sofia Vergara on Modern Family. And she came in, she sat down.
As one does.
Yes. And she said to me, I would fuck Sofia Vergara. And that image just amplified my orgasm by a million. And then next thing you know, my jizz is on her knee. And she's like, you asshole. And I'm like, you did this to me.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. Okay, so that reminds me of something.
Mm-hmm.
I went into the market and I was talking to a guy in there I know, and he was telling me about this movie Out of Shadows or something.
Yeah.
A conspiracy theory movie and he was saying I said, okay, I'm not going to watch it. So, okay, I've seen one adult film, Insatiable, and I saw that at Lawrence Monison's parents' house in like 1981, and I kept leaving the room, and it was on. We never really. I did see the end, and I almost threw up. But that's the only adult film I've ever seen in my life, and I don't have any interest in them.
Mm-hmm.
And so back to this movie, that apparently the movie says that Hillary Clinton, Tom Hanks, and his is in on this and does this. And I'm thinking, who has time for this kind of complex fetish that they even made a fucking movie about it?
Yeah.
I mean, regular sex takes up enough time that all this other crap seems like, who has that kind of time, Tommy?
Yeah.
It's very odd to me. It's very, very odd. Fetishes have always escaped me. But it's, it's just one of those things in the world that I don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, everybody has a different fetish, and everybody's attracted to it for certain reasons, I mean, for me personally, I like feet, and I think how it started for me, and I've told this story before, there was a woman who came to our house to do some business with my mother, and she was wearing these green nylon socks, and her ankles were green, and I was just, intrigued by them. So my mom, she left the room, and I went into the room, and I took her shoe off and started tickling her feet, and she was laughing. And my mom came back, and she was mad, so she told me to leave and stuff. But that woman, she was giggling. She was a good sport about the whole thing, And I remember she drove off, and I was like, "Wait, I forgot to ask. Why are your ankles green?"
I'm picturing Sid Charisse in her green stockings in that Gene Kelly movie.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called. Oh my God, Singing in the Rain.
Yeah.
That movie.
Singing in the Rain.
Yeah. She had green nylons on and that really sexy dance scene.
Yes. Yeah. God, that was a long, long time ago, but that's how I think it began for me, But my other story happened about a year after that one. So I was hanging out with with the mother of a friend of mine, and I hadn't seen her since before my accident, and I was moving, and I wanted to spend some time with her before I leave and everything. And at a certain point, we started rubbing each other's feet, and it led to us making out. And she stopped in the middle of everything, and she was like, "I really want to do this, but I can't bring myself to doing it now because of the breakup that I'm going through and stuff. But I don't want that hard on to go to waste, so I want you to go lay on my bed and masturbate." And
oh my God, this really happened?
Yes.
In life?
It did. It did.
Jesus, doesn't happen in my world.
Yeah.
I have a very plaid world, I think, Tommy.
Yeah. Well, she gave me a box of Kleenex and a bottle of water-based lube, and I went up there and got to work, and she heard me, and she was turned on by it. And then I came down, and then we spent next 3 or 4 hours telling each other dirty jokes and stories and laughing and having a good time. It was a great day overall.
My goodness sakes.
People in the Bay Area are pretty strange, I'll tell you.
Wow. It sounds like it. You'll see it's another case of having a lot of time.
It's not like, I mean, it's like Hollywood in that, everybody in Hollywood's a free spirit and has no filter and what have you, but some really strange stuff can happen in the Bay Area too.
Well, like I said, I'm not privy to that side of Hollywood. I've not seen that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I was a ballet dancer, I saw more of that than I care to ever mention.
Really? It was as a ballet dancer?
Hollywood's more like a business than a brothel.
Yeah, but you saw stuff backstage as a ballet dancer?
Oh, well, not backstage. I mean, it was just prevalent of ballet teachers. A lot of them were very touchy-feely.
Mm-hmm.
were different.
Yeah.
So
Do you think it's?
I chalked it up to that.
Yeah. Do you think it's changed for the better?
Oh, heck yes. Yeah, they'd all be arrested.
Yeah, all the stories I've heard, and stuff in those days, and all the drugs that was going on in public where everyone could see.
Well, that was, as far as I know, that was more New York scene than Los Angeles, but...
Oh, yeah. Studio 54.
Yeah. Okay, I'm home now.
Yeah, the dump truck is gone.
Yeah, yes. I thought that would be a good place to have a good signal and do our podcast, but I didn't think about the trash service.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bother or anything. I mean, I've talked to people with, birds chirping in the background, their own pet birds.
Oh.
They're in a cage. Yeah.
Okay. So, is that all? Are we done?
Yes, Kimmy, thank you so much for coming back on again.
Sure.
I mean, even though you don't remember the first time.
I remember now. I know where I was and everything.
I have a very familiar voice, I know.
Yeah, I didn't at first. And I know a couple of Tommies, so why? Sure.
Well, I'm glad you came back on today. This was a lot of fun. And stay safe, keep your head above water, and hopefully after this is all over, you'll get back in the projects and the conventions, and I'll see you at some point.
Okay, Tommy. Well, you take care and enjoy your feast.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Kimmy Robertson. Ain't she a sweetheart? I love Kimmy so much. She is just so awesome and a lot of fun. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Till next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes!